This is Matrix Lord 212, and I'm going into detail about Guardians of the Galaxy again, because I was right. It is Vance Astro, not Lance Astro, that digital spy said. See, I read these comics, so I know that something's wrong here. So I'm going to go into article here. I'm going to read you something about the Guardians of the Galaxy's history. Basically, they started in, they first appeared in 1969. In the reprint title, they were in. Okay, wait a minute now. They first appeared in partial in a reprint title Marvel Superheroes with issue 18, written by Arnold Drake and penciled by Gene Coulson. They appear sporadically in several Marvel titles. Marvel 2 and 1, number 4 and 5 in July to September 1974. Giant Size Defenders number 5, Defenders 26 to 29 in 1975. Let's see, where else? Because I remember reading about them in the 90s. Was it the 90s? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy in a self-titled comic ran for 62 issues in the 90s by Jim Valentino. Yep, and Michael Gallagher. Okay. Basically, the team consisted of Major Vance Astro, an astronaut from the 20th century Earth that spends 1,000 years traveling to Alpha Centauri in suspended animation. Sort of like Buck Rogers, basically. He is also the future alternate universe counterpart of Vance Astrovic, which, of course, I was right too, was known as Justice in New Warriors. And the other team members are Martinex, Tanaga, crystalline being from the planet from Pluto. Then is Captain Charlie 27, a soldier from Jupiter. Yandu Udonta is a blue-skinned noble savage from Beta Centauri 4. That was the original team. Then they also had, let's see, there was a war against the Badoon. The team recruited 2 more members, Starhawk and Nikki, and traveled back in time to the heroes of the 20th century, including they teamed up with Captain America and Thing. Let's see, during the defeat of the Badoon, they found themselves facing a new foe called Korvac, who was in fact the creation of the Badoon. Let's see, they teamed up with Thor in the 31st century to defeat Korvac. The Guardians then followed Korvac back to the 20th century, where together with the Avengers they fight a final battle. Let's see, they reappeared years later with characters such as the Inhuman Talon, Replica, the Skrull, and the a second version of Yellow Jacket, Rita Damara. And I remember too, I think Rita died, Rita Damara, and she came to present, and she with the Avengers, she died, I think. So let's see, what else does it say? Martinek leaves. Oh, he leaves the team for additional members in the second unit called the Galactic Guardians. Okay, I really liked that comic back in the day because they introduced a lot of different characters. It was like a separate, almost like a separate universe, alternate universe, because they even had the Ghost Rider in the 31st century. He was a member of Universal Church of Truth, I believe. And they even had Adam Warlock's counterpart, which was like when he became evil, it was I think Magus, I think, or something like that. Just picture a hero like in the future he's a villain. So that hero had to fight his future self. There was a lot of interesting things about the Guardians of the Galaxy comic I liked. I also liked the fact that Starhawk, every time he died, he went all the way back into merging with himself in as a baby and reliving his life over and over and over again, sort of like Groundhog Day or something like that. But basically, every time he died, it was like a new timeline that was created, and he was in his mother's womb and relived it again, but did things differently the next time around. So I found that very, very interesting. I also found the fact that he was with his wife too, and that was an interesting thing. But the main case was Vance Astro, Major Victory, because the main thing about the comic was that he had to search for Captain America's original shield, so he was sort of like the futuristic version of Captain America, but he also had like powers, like a psychic power to lift things and stuff like that. So it was pretty interesting what he did with the shield and stuff like that. and then he wound up having a romance with Starhawk's wife. It was an interesting thing, but I really liked the comic. You know, they're not going to make a movie based on the classic guys. I guess they're going with the sort of um, the new fresh team that they got now, which I think is Drax the Destroyer, Gamora, this Rocket Raccoon thing. I mean, you know what? I can't really say anything against the Guardians of the Galaxy, the new team, but I really favor the old team. So I'm sure the movie's going to be great. They said stuff about Thanos possibly in it, the Infinity Gems. Maybe they won't have Thanos in Avengers 2. Maybe they'll save him for 3. I don't know. But technically, Guardians of the Galaxy comes out after Avengers 2. So I'm curious to see what they do. And also a lot of talk, too, with the Avengers that they really want Agent Coulson to return from the dead. I don't know how they're going to do that one, or if they're even going to do that. There's talk of him playing the Vision, or there's this stuff saying now that Vin Diesel wants to be the Vision. So a lot of interesting going on, talking Marvel with that. There's, Marvel has their Phase 2 where they have their characters that's going to comprise of, what they're going to be doing now with the comics. I mean, with the movies. And basically, there's other characters that they have that are not part of Phase 2 because they're run by, like, say, 20th Century Fox, which I believe is doing Wolverine, and they're doing X-Men First Class Part 2. And soon, I think this week also, Marvel is going to be getting the rights back to, I believe they're getting the rights back to Daredevil. Should be possibly this week, because I think that 20th Century Fox don't want the rights anymore. I mean, they would have to have a deal where they would have to sign over Silver Surfer and Galactus, the characters that they have the rights to, and really they don't want to do that. But I think that somehow they are keeping Elektra. So I'm still waiting to hear on confirmation on that. But basically, what we got lined up for next year, we got Iron Man 3. It's going to be May 3rd. We got Thor: The Dark World, November 8th. We got Captain America in 2014 on April 4th. And now they're listing Guardians of the Galaxy on Dark Horizons for August 1st of 2014. I thought it was 2015 because that's a little too soon, I think. But and Ant-Man movies up in the air, like when it's going to come out. There's also talk of Doctor Strange by some other party. And Wolverine, we got in X-Men Days of Future Past. X-Men Days of Future Past, which, that's basically First Class Part 2. So there's a lot of cool, interesting things with the Marvel characters. But I'm going to be watching the Guardians of the Galaxy closely because I really hope that they capture the essence of what the book was in the 90s. I really enjoyed that by Jim Valentino. So we'll have to see what happens. But other than that, there's still, there's all kinds of rumors going around about the Hulk still. I do hope they give the Hulk another shot and he gets another movie rather than a TV series, because they want to make a TV series of the Hulk, and I'm not really for that. I think that Mike Ruffalo is a great Bruce Banner. I think they should give him a shot, so we'll have to wait and see. And I think they also signed the guy that plays Abomination for a couple movies too, so who knows what's going to happen with that one either. But Captain America looks to be pretty good with Bucky coming back as a villain, the Winter Soldier, just like from the comics. That should be pretty interesting. And Thor is shaping up to be really, really good. I mean, you got Christopher Eccleston, which was the Ninth Doctor. He's going to be playing the villain. And I guess the one who played the Borg Queen is going to be, I think, the villain's wife. I'm not really sure if that's definite. But then you got Loki thrown into the mix. And I don't know if they're going to have the Enchantress. We're going to have to wait and see. But, it's supposed to be very, very awesome from what I'm hearing. And just recently, Iron Man 3, they have to stop filming because Robert Downey Jr. hurt his ankle. So that should be delayed for probably like a couple weeks. Hopefully not too long, and then they could wrap that up, and that could be put out as planned. So that's what's going on with the Marvel movies, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.